Center for the Ethiopian Educational Information and Communication Technology presents Educational Satellite Television Programs.
Hello, teacher. Hello, students. Welcome to today's lesson on the recycling of elements in nature. In our last lesson, we learned about the relative amounts of elements in the Earth's crust. We learned about the top 6 elements in the Earth's crust and how to classify each one. In today's lesson, we are going to define the term fixation. We will also show and describe the carbon cycle. Students, if you are ready, let us get started. Fixation is one of the vital chemical or biological processes that are required for the transformation of a substance. In this process, a volatile gaseous substance is transformed into a usable form. A previously volatile substance in the environment is transformed into a form that can be used by organisms. Students, let us discuss how elements recycle in nature. All living organisms interact with nature, from people, plants, and animals to insects, fungi, and even bacteria. The key part of this interaction is the cycling of nutrients in the ecosystem. Ecosystems are comprised of all the organisms that live together, as well as the abiotic or non-living factors that organisms interact with. Nutrients provide substances to organisms, which helps them to grow. However, certain environments can have a limited amount of nutrients. Life is sustained because the necessary elements are exchanged between the living and non-living world. This is called a cycle. Let us focus on one cycle in particular, the carbon cycle. The Earth's atmosphere contains about 0.035% carbon dioxide. The biological environment depends on plants to convert this carbon dioxide into sugars, proteins, and fats. As you can see in this image, green plants convert carbon dioxide from the Earth's atmosphere and water into glucose and oxygen in the presence of sunlight. This process is called photosynthesis. In fact, you probably already learned about this in biology. The chemical equation for photosynthesis looks like this. Solar energy from the sun provides the energy that is necessary for this reaction to occur. This makes photosynthesis an endothermic reaction. Heat energy is used to produce a reaction. Animals, which include human beings, eat plants or other animals that have eaten plants. When this happens, the carbon atoms that were inside the plants are incorporated into the cells of whomever or whatever is eating them. Carbon is returned to the physical environment in a number of ways. Let us discuss them. Both plants and animals respire or breathe. Carbon dioxide is released during the exhalation process. The chemical reaction for respiration looks like this. Students, what type of reaction is respiration? Choose the correct answer and then explain why.
Students, let's get ready. Begin. Time's up. Let's get back to our lesson.
Welcome back, students. Respiration is an exothermic reaction. During exhalation, 2,803 kilojoules of heat energy are released per mole. If you answered that correctly, well done. Let us continue. Another way that carbon is returned to the physical environment is through decomposition. When organic matter is decomposed, carbon dioxide is released into the atmosphere. Decomposition can also be used to create fossil fuels. Dead organisms that are under high pressure for long periods of time in the absence of air can be converted into coal, oil, and even gas. Humans use these fossil fuels as a source of energy. During the complete combustion of fossil fuels, carbon dioxide is released back into the atmosphere. Fossil fuels consist of hydrogen and some other elements. They burn in oxygen to form carbon dioxide, water, and other products. The combustion of fuel is an exothermic reaction because energy is released in the form of heat. Students, I am sure you remember learning about the law of conservation of mass. This law states that the matter that exists now has always existed, and that no new matter can ever be created. Thus, according to this law, the number of carbon atoms that exist now have always existed, and no new carbon atoms can be created. However, there is a growing concern over the amount of carbon atoms that exist in the form of carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is a natural greenhouse gas, but the excess is a contributing factor to global warming. One of the possible consequences of global warming is an increase in the temperature of ocean water. The oceans act as a sink for carbon dioxide by dissolving a large amount of carbon dioxide. Please discuss the following question with one of your classmates. How would this process be affected if the temperature of ocean water increased?
Students, let's get ready. Begin. Time's up. Let's get back to our lesson.
Hello again, students. I am sure you had a very interesting discussion. You might have said that an increase in the temperature of oceans would decrease the solubility of carbon dioxide. If this were to happen, more carbon dioxide would be released into the atmosphere, which would increase global warming. In today's lesson, we defined the term fixation. We learned that it is a process in which a previously volatile substance is changed into a form that can be used by an organism. We also discussed the carbon cycle. This is the way in which carbon moves through organisms and the environment. We discussed these processes, including photosynthesis, respiration, and combustion. In our next lesson, we will learn about the nitrogen cycle. This is all for today's lesson. Until next time, thank you, teacher. Thank you, students.